strangers, and welcome to the second episode of Caffeinated Convos. I'm actually being I'm featuring my dog today, you know, the one that was like barking occasionally in the last video. Yeah, he's sitting right here. You can't see him, but he's right beside me right now. First and foremost, sorry, I really need this tea. It's the first caffeine-based drink I've had today. But first and foremost, I need to apologise for not making a video last week. How do I word this without it being like too much detail? My mental health has been shit for the last 3 months, and I was like in denial as to why. I know exactly why, but I didn't want to admit why. And last week in particular was really bad. Oh yeah. So yeah, I just didn't have the motivation or care for anything, including making a video. But I've now finally accepted, you know, what I was denying. Do I feel very guilty for accepting it? Yeah, because I care about people. More about care more about other people than myself, which not healthy. Don't do that. And I know it's very hypocritical of me to say don't do that, but don't, okay? Because I'm even trying to work on that. Which is why, random fun fact. Sorry, I don't know what that is. It's connected to the random fun fact. I haven't talked to anyone all week. Outside of like obviously the people I'm living with, and like I think a few days ago I spoke to my dad and my nana over the phone, but apart from that, I haven't talked to anyone all week because last week was so bad. And then I finally kind of like resolved some of it, but like still need some sorting out. So I thought the best option for me would be to kind of just be alone with myself for as long as I need. Which means, yeah, this whole week I haven't talked to anyone, haven't been on social media, And is this cheating? Maybe. But this is going to be a message right here for my friend Rogs. You're the first person I told that I wasn't going to be talking to for God knows how long now. It's very hard not to talk to you, especially considering we talk literally every day unless we absolutely don't have to. But just gonna assure you now, I'm doing okay, and once I get everything all sorted out, we can go back to talking non-stop every single day for hours on end. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, I was also gonna say as well, like, if I'm here and then there and like not fully looking at the camera, please don't take offense, but I am multitasking during this video. You see, with the second lockdown being about, it's not the same as the first lockdown. First lockdown I was given classwork and it was like, you know what, I'm actually doing better at home than I am in school. This lockdown though, it's kind of like all the teachers were like, so you did well, so why don't we just overload you with work this time? And I'm struggling, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not the smartest person in the world, like at all. Like, people always are telling me like, oh, shut up, you are smart. Like, no, I'm gonna explain the spectrum of intelligence to you, okay? Because I might come across as smart, but I'm not. All I've got is good academic memory, which is, yes, one form of intelligence, but I would argue it's not the strongest form of intelligence, because all it is remembering information that you're being taught, retaining it, and then regurgitating it. That's all it is. And I mean, if you were to put me like in a practical situation, like a practical exam, where I have to actually do what I was taught, I'm more likely to fail that than if I were to do a written exam. Because written exam is just a memory test. So yeah, unlike majority of people, I was kind of upset when I found out that most of my exams are most likely going to be cancelled this year. Because exams are like the best thing I've got going for me intelligence-wise. Anything else, yeah, no, So, oh! He's gone now. probably heard something. So, as I was going to say before, while you rudely interrupted me, how dare you, boy? I love you, but how dare you? What have I been up to this week? Well, like I said, I've been alone this whole week pretty much, basically, doing work mainly. Oh, I will say that I watched Biden's inauguration. Is that how you say it? Inauguration? I watched it on TV the other day, and I'm so happy. Like, obviously, don't get me wrong, I know I said in the last video I don't know a lot about politics, but one thing I do know about it is that politicians are not afraid to lie to get to where they want. So obviously, you know, I'm so happy for everyone in America that, you know, you don't have Trump anymore. Like, oh, I'm so happy you don't have him anymore. But at the same time, I think if I were to give advice, not that I'm the best person in the world to give advice for this sort of stuff, but if I were to, I would say don't just, you know, be like, oh yeah, we got Biden now, like, we're so happy, we can, like, just let him do whatever we want. Like, no, be sure to continuously put pressure on the fact that, like, he gave you these statements saying that he would do this and that for your country. Like, make sure he sticks by them, okay? Because, wow, the amount of times that people here in the UK have gone and voted for prime ministers because, hey, they're gonna do something good for us, and I'm just there like, and then I ended up being right, and they were all just spitting a bunch of bullshit. Oh, he's back. He's back now, but he's on the floor. I don't think he likes that I'm filming. He's very camera shy. Very, very camera shy. He's very cute though, if I could best describe my dog. It would be like me, but like as a male dog. I know that sounds really stupid, but yeah, that's the best way I can describe it. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to also show off this cute jumper I'm wearing as well. I thought I lost it, and I was like really upset because it was a birthday present. It was a custom-made birthday present by my friend Sam. But I found it, and I'm so happy. Basically, the story behind it is like, as a joke, we have these like really cringy pet name type nicknames for each other. She is 𝕊𝕆𝕀𝔸𝕃, and I am Marshmallow. Yes, it's spelt wrong on purpose as well, by the way. I understand that it's spelt wrong on purpose. It's because when she first wrote the nickname on my hand, like, oh, what about this? She's dyslexic, so it was spelt wrong, and I kind of pointed it out and was like, it's an A. But like, obviously I didn't take the mick out of her, obviously, because it's not her fault. And it just kind of stuck. Like, every time she wrote it, it would be misspelled. Every time I wrote it, I would sometimes misspell it myself, because Marshmallow sounds like it should have an E in it. But it doesn't. So yeah, it just kind of stuck, and now I purposely have it spelled wrong as my nickname. And then as for the doodles, we got bored in college once, and I was like, she was like drawing on it, I looked up and I was like, oh my god, imagine if we draw our nicknames as like cartoon characters. So that's what she did. And yeah. I'm very sorry if I keep rambling. This isn't going to be as good as my first one, I don't think, because yeah, again, I know I'm repeating, I haven't talked to anyone all week. This is kind of just me like, words to people. So yeah. So what exactly else have I been doing? Well, again, schoolwork. It's been a pretty dull week, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm just trying to keep myself preoccupied, because this second lockdown isn't the same as the first one. The first one I was kind of okay with, because I didn't really go out much anyway. Now, this just feels like literal hell. And I don't know what to do. If anyone could give me advice on like what to do with this lockdown, that would be great. But I feel like most people are probably feeling the same as me right now. Ooh. Actually, I do have news. I have been looking up a bunch of like writing competitions, because like last year I joined a writing competition. I think I mentioned that in the last video. I'm very sure that was a whole 2 weeks ago now. But yeah, I did. I didn't win it, but I had fun just doing it and signing up for it. So I was like, hey, why don't I do it again? And I've been researching so many different types that I could look into. And I think I came across like 11 altogether. And I'm not really sure which ones to sign up for. So like part of me is like contemplating like, hey, why don't I just do all of them at once? Which, if I know, is really stupid, because I'm already feeling pressured enough with schoolwork and like uni. But at the same time, I really want to do more writing, and I really like showing people, you know, things I'm writing. So why not? Why not? I'm still contemplating it. I might just sign up for just 1 or 2. Might do all 11 of them. Who knows? I'll update you guys on it. And also, if you guys want, like, I still have my copy of what I wrote last year as a competition, so if you guys ever want, maybe just as like a short little thing out of sheer boredom, it could be like me just reading it to you. Yeah. I know it sounds really dull. I don't mean it to sound dull. You wanna have some input, buddy? No? He looks very bored, and that's scaring me, because I'm like, if he's bored, are you guys bored? I hope not. Oh, buddy. I've had him for like 3 years now. He's the cutest thing in the world. And honestly, well, I don't really like people that much anyway, so my alternative for my favourite person in the world. Because I don't really like people. It's not my fault. Like, don't get me wrong, I love people, but hi buddy. I like people, but it's also really difficult to like people. You know, mental health just sucks. It sucks, doesn't it? Oh, I hate it. But at least I got my coffee. Well, actually, it's tea today, not coffee. But yeah, and it's a Hogwarts mug. I'm a Harry Potter fan, for anyone who couldn't tell by the mug I'm using today. No, I don't condone or support anything that the creator has said. I actually despise it with all of my being. But at the same time, it's like, it's really difficult to not acknowledge the fact that like Harry Potter's been around in my life for a very long time. I'm 19 and I've been a fan of it since I was 5, so that's 14 years, 15 years when I turned 20 this year, so 15 years of having Harry Potter in my life. It was a huge escape when I was younger. It helped me out with a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's really awkward to kind of like, it's like, how do I word it? I do not support anything that the creator said. I'm not even going to bring up their name because they don't deserve to even be mentioned by name. And I no longer, after everything that came out, spend money to give towards that person just because that financial gain counts as support for them, which no. But I do watch content still relating to the series. I have my own personal headcanons on the series. I am a fan of things in the series that I like to keep with me, and I kind of just ignore certain aspects that are in the series, you know, like the racism, the misogyny, the homophobia, like all that stuff, just like nah. I don't see that. In my mind, the series is how I interpret it. And how I interpret it is like, first of all, I guess this is now going to turn into a Harry Potter talking episode. First of all, Harry was 1000% a biracial, bisexual male, and I don't care what people say. It was so obvious. It was so obvious. In fact, one of the reasons I figured out my own sexuality when I was younger was because I was like, wow, I really relate to a lot of what Harry is saying, especially like Goblet of Fire, which is my favourite book, by the way. Especially during Goblet of Fire, the whole like Cedric and Cho thing, like come on, he was 1000% into like both of them, and he was experiencing the epitome of a bisexual panic. It was the funniest thing, and like rereading it now, whenever I do reread it, I'm like, yes, Harry, I've been there. I've been there. Yes. I love it. It's. But yeah, that's what I mean. Basically, like, don't support the creator, but I do support the series, and I support what I want out of the series because of how much it was there for me throughout my life. It's a very complicated topic. Whenever, like, especially after last year with everything that came out, it's very difficult to explain, and people just always assume that you're making excuses to support the creator. I'm really not. I'm really not. I despise everything about her. But I just, it's really hard to describe, isn't it? Like, yeah. And I'm a Hufflepuff, by the way, for anyone who's wondering. I don't know if it's that much of a surprise to people, but yeah, for anyone who wants to know as well, this part might become more of a surprise. I have done the test 5 times in my life throughout the whole lifespan of being a fan. 4 of them times, obviously, I got a Hufflepuff, and then the final 5th time, I actually got Slytherin. So yeah, I don't know what that says about me, but people usually get shocked by that. They're like, Hufflepuff, I see. But they get very shocked by the fact that I have Slytherin tendencies, you know? And again, this is literally just a Harry Potter video now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I haven't talked to anyone in so long. And like, don't get me wrong, I know it sounds like I'm complaining, and I kind of am. But sometimes you've got to do difficult things for yourself and for your own mental health and for your own well-being. That's another thing I'm learning, because the reason I was in denial is because it meant like accepting like everything last week and like the months beforehand. Accepting it would have meant hurting someone I really cared about. Yeah, and I didn't want to do that because it's just horrible. So that's why I was letting my mental health suffer, and you shouldn't do that. And I just, yeah, I really want to talk to people, like my friends and all that, but if I do that, I know that I'm going to use it as a reason to once again escape and try and ignore how I'm feeling, because that's what I always do. And usually I never try to get help for myself until a friend or a family member brings it up and it's like, no, you should do this. So I want to for once actually do something for myself, even if it's the hardest thing to do. So yes, I apologise for complaining. I know this isn't just a week thing, like when it comes to alone time, I mean alone time, like you don't know how long you're going to need to be alone for, you know. It shouldn't be like one of those things where like you feel pressured to come back after a week or whatever. So until further notice, you might all have to put up with my complaining of being alone, and I'm sorry. Honestly, I feel bad because this is the first video back and I haven't really had much to talk about, and I feel like I've just bored you all, so I'm gonna go now. And I hope you have enjoyed my video. Again, I'm sorry if you haven't and I've just bored you all. Like, comment below and subscribe. I respond to comments, and I also love comments of like, I really don't mind comments for like criticism and like ideas of what you guys might want me to talk about next, because I just, yeah.